Hey guys, ForTheAfro Reviews here, and tonight I'll be reviewing chapter 177 of My Hero Academia, and this is another really good chapter, guys. Horikoshi has been knocking it out of the park lately. His cultural festival arc has been super good, and I expected it to be like kind of a cool down arc, and like I thought I'd enjoy it, but not like love it. So far, I've absolutely loved this arc, so props to Horikoshi. Very first panel of this chapter, we see the impact from Deku crashing into the construction site with Gentle. And we get an old geezer who is witnessing the whole thing, and we even get a little star by the old geezer that says old geezer, just in case we couldn't tell that it was an old geezer. And he's like saying like this is kind of fishy, like kind of like a suspicious thing to happen, you know. He's like probably thinking about reporting it. And this is when Labrava, like a genius, swoops in and is like, hey, don't worry about it, we're filming a video, please go ahead and let your neighbors know, which is super intelligent, you know. She's using this guy to basically kill down any suspicions that anyone would have about what's going on in the construction site, which is just a straight up fight between a criminal and a hero in training. She even states herself that this won't last for very long. Like a trick like that will only do so much, but in general, like it's just a smart thing to do. Like that extra time is what they need to get away, so works out well for them. While Deku is crashing into said building, he's actually thinking about all the help he's got and how it's allowing him to stand toe-to-toe with Gentle right now. He thinks about Hatsume and how she's helped with the gloves and whatnot. You know, like, because if it wasn't for the gloves, he couldn't use the Delaware Smash Air Force at all, and he wouldn't be able to use any range attacks against Gentle, which is proving to be pretty effective. Deku also thinks of Ashido, who's helped him with his dance training, you know, and because without that, he wouldn't be able to react in the moment as well. You know, he would have to stay like stationary and just shoot his stuff. But now he's getting better at like in the middle of movement, like he can like shoot his Delaware Smash, and that's the only reason he was able to do it while falling through the air upside down at that. Deku looks around for Gentle, you know, trying to be aware of his surroundings, and when he sees him, Gentle is just hanging by a little steel girder by his coat, and he's hilarious. He doesn't flinch at all. He's just like Deku's like what, like kind of like what the hell is that position? And Gentle goes, a true gentleman never panics, because he's just like super calm, which it's hilarious. It's great. Gentle has just been funny after funny after funny, and then unexpectedly badass. You know, I thought he'd just be pure comedy, but no, he's definitely a funny character. But even like in last chapter and especially in this chapter, we see that he's a threat. He definitely knows how to use his quirk and be like a dangerous person. So this kind of comedic side of him really can off-put, I think, even characters in the show. You know, they're kind of like, we don't need to take this guy as serious. We'll just catch him, you know, throw some cuffs on him, whatever. But it turns out that he's this powerhouse, basically. Maybe not powerhouse, probably isn't the right term, but he's really strong in one-on-one combat is what I'm getting at. Deku states that he's no gentleman because he's trying to like do ungentlemanly things, and the fact that he's trying to break into UA and, you know, cause a lot of trouble. He asks what exactly his plan is, and of course, Gentle, being a gentleman, immediately just tells him his entire plan. Like, I want to break into the UA. That's basically that's it. That's all I want to do. And he says don't lump him in with the League of Villains who are like really violent and stuff, and he wouldn't even think about kidnapping or killing people or anything. So he's explaining his position kind of well. Like, I mean, obviously I would still be against it, as Deku is. He's like, you can't break into my school, dude. Like, that's not cool. But it is reassuring to see that, like, again, him reiterate, I don't want to just hurt people. Like, that's not the character I am. So that's great to see. While all this explaining is going down, Labrava is like running up the construction site to, you know, to film them, and she like jumps around the corner with her camera. And this is like when Gentle's like talking about what his plans are, basically is when she jumps around the corner and she's like, oh my god, he's begging for his life. And that, god, the comedy in this chapter was just phenomenal. Deku is trying to reason with Gentle. He's trying to be really rational, and this is kind of cool. Like, you know, Deku and Gentle are talking a lot more than I expected them to. I thought they, you know, exchanged some words, but like Deku's like straight up like just conversing with him right now. You know, he has his finger gun like held like ready to go in case he does something, but he's still conversing with this like criminal and trying to like talk him down essentially. He's trying to use talk no jutsu from Naruto, but he is not a master of said jutsu yet. He's basically saying that UA is on higher alert than ever, and that their infiltration won't work, just period. It's just not going to work. And then because they tried to infiltrate, just period, the cultural festival is going to be canceled, and it's going to be lose-lose for everyone. And Gentle to this, his genius rebuttal is that it's okay, my infiltration will be a success, and yeah, so it's a win-win for everyone, right? Deku's like, no, that's not a win-win at all. If you infiltrate the cultural festival, it's a much bigger problem than if you don't. Deku bluffs, saying that he's already contacted the heroes and police, and that, you know, there's no point in Gentle going through with his plan because it just won't work, period. But Gentle doesn't care at all. He continues to fight Deku, and he starts bouncing around. Deku pursues him, and then after seeing that like he's too fast, he's like trying to hit him with the Air Force Smash again, but he has to predict where Gentle's going to be. So like he's moving his arm sideways, he's like pointing this way while his head's still turning. Like he's definitely trying to predict where he is. He's doing an okay job, but the fact that Gentle can bounce around off things as if they were rubber, and even the air. So like every once in a while, when he's jumping around off surfaces, he'll just jump off like a random spot of air. So it's almost impossible to predict where he's going to be or where he's going to bounce next or whatever. The prediction thing just isn't working for Deku at all. While Deku's trying to predict Gentle's movements and hit him with an Air Force Smash, and failing, to be frank, Gentle hits him in like the side of the neck here. Actually, it's kind of painful. With like he says air-wrapped film. It's basically just like a ball of elastic air, is what I perceive it as, and he just hits him right upside the head with it. So while he's bouncing around, he's also throwing stuff. He's really talented. Again, like what I want to say, not like a super dangerous quirk per se, but like it's useful as hell, and obviously the combat potential is there. Now, the most creative thing Gentle does with his quirk is once he stops, hitting the Izuku with the air bubble ball things, and he stops jumping around, he like stops on one girder, and the girder he made elastic when he stopped, so it's kind of just like bouncing up and down, and he mentions that the way his quirk works is that he doesn't consciously like turn off his quirk. It just like he makes something elastic and it slowly reverts back to normal. So there's a little bit of a limitation there. It's good to know. I like the specifics of quirks and how they work. So he takes advantage of this he was taking out the screws of these girders because he would make them rubber, and then you could just pull them out because they're rubber and they'll bend, they don't really do their job unless they're solid metal. So he just pulled out a bunch of screws, and then he made this girder he landed on rubber, and while it's bouncing, it's slowly returning to being really hard and steel. So by the time it does return, it's like in a weird position, and then it just like falls. Now, Gentle intended for this girder to fall on a person. Well, he didn't really intend for it to do that. He intended to make it look like it's going to fall on this person. He said he would have bounced it up, like back up, if Deku didn't catch it, but he does. Deku flies underneath the girder and catches the entire thing, which, a girder is already heavy enough, and with all that speed and momentum of it falling, that's a hard thing to catch. Go, Deku. Gentle actually expected Deku to go after the person, though, not the girder, so he's like, wow, I am just impressed by your speed and power even more than I was a second ago. Gentle then decides, to continue with his plan. He says Deku is preoccupied and he has a chance to escape. He bends back this big crane, and then he, launches himself and La Brava off. Deku is thinking about how he just cannot let this happen. He's like, I need to stop this, and how, he remembers Gentle mentioning that La Brava had turned off the sensors, so it's even more crucial in his mind that he needs to stop them by any means necessary. And this is when we get a cut to the rest of the UA students. We see Kaminari and Bakugo kind of going back and forth, and Kaminari has some serious bags under his eyes. He looks really tired. He looks like I do. We also see the rest of the band they have shirts with a big A on them, for Class A. And they made one for Bakugo, but he won't wear it, which makes total sense. We see Ashido and Uraraka in some cute dresses, and they're ready to dance and stuff. And apparently they bought them off the rack or something, and it's fixed them up. So they're thrifty. It's a cool little detail. We hear some people call for Todoroki talking about the staging, when Todoroki was kind of more thinking, where is Deku? Why isn't he here yet? Todoroki cares, obviously. He's noticed, but he's preoccupied with staging stuff, so he got a little distracted. Aoyama just has a little panel where he's just kind of thinking to himself, so maybe Aoyama will go help Deku, who knows, because, they've been better friends recently. He did get some focus earlier, but we do get, the last panel we get is Aoyama. I think that might be relevant. He might be the one to be this is weird, and actually go and do something. Who knows? So with only 15 minutes left until the start of the cultural festival, I'm not sure if that's when the performance starts, but at least until the festival itself begins, there's only 15 minutes. So we cut back to Deku, who is struggling under this giant steel beam, and he's pushing hard. We see him really straining to push this beam up, and then all of a sudden, surprised the hell out of me, on the next page, Deku's holding it with one arm, just one arm straight up, and then he flicks an Air Force Smash with the other hand and almost hits Gentleman La Brava. The pure willpower he had to have to do that. That's a heavy freaking thing, even with One for All. Unless he can't use, I think he can only use 8 right now, regularly. So his full cal is 8%. So obviously he has super strength, but that's still really heavy. And he lifted it with one arm for a second and then shot out something. Then he puts it back down, so he's ready to go again. He's good to go. And this is when La Brava turns around and says, Gentle, let's do it. Let's use my quirk. So I'm really hoping that it's something interesting. My hope was that it was something not hacking related. I wanted her hacking abilities to be like something she can just do and have her quirk be like something totally different. And from this statement alone, it's looking like that's going to be the case, just because her quirk has to have some kind of like combat or like capture capabilities, since they're planning to hold off Deku with it, you know. And Gentle isn't about like hurting people, so I guess it's probably not like actually like a violent quirk. It's probably just like Gentle's that has a lot of good combat uses. So this fight's been going on a little longer than I thought it would. Honestly, I thought it'd be like a quick half-chapter like scuffle between Gentle and Deku. Deku would get trapped like immediately, and then Gentle and the Bravo would make it to the cultural festival and do their havoc, and the rest of the arc would unfold, you know. But Deku's been putting up a good fight. Like, he's been showing off his new finger flicks without breaking his fingers. Loving that. Ranged attacks on Deku are awesome, and the finger flicks are like one of the more iconic things I think My Hero Academia has going for it. You know, as far as like attacks go, like, you know, Naruto's got like the Rasengan, like One Piece has all the Luffy's Gomu Gomu attacks. You know, like the finger flicks. That's like one of the first things I think of when I think of Deku fighting. You know, him only all his fingers are broken, which now they don't do, which is really cool for him. Anyway, guys, that's pretty much it for me. Like, comment, subscribe if you liked the video at all, and share with people. I would love to get more subscribers. I would like to hit 100 here if I can soon. So yeah, until next time, guys, I will see ya.